Magic fans, I'm Beef, and welcome back to another standard gameplay video. And today we are doing a bit of a combo. So some of you may have seen this deck has been doing the rounds for a while because it did win a standard event on Magic the Gathering online a few weeks ago, beginning of January. It went 8-1. I'm not sure how you win an event with one loss, but I don't know how the standard events work. So it does revolve around not a new spell that we have in Foundations, a spell that we have a reprint of in Foundations, Omniscience. Omniscience, as I'm sure you all know, 10 mana enchantment, and says you may cast spells from your hand without paying the mana cost. Very, very powerful, but very, very expensive. And generally, people try and cheat Omniscience into play. And that's what we're doing with Abuelo's Awakening. We did play this card right back when I started the channel in a Rakdos Joins Up deck where you use this to get that back and then it Legends ruled itself and it kills the things, blah, blah, blah. So Abuelo's Awakening, what is it? It's a X and 4. We don't worry about the X, but return target artifact or non-aura enchantment, such as Omniscience, from a graveyard to the battlefield. It's a 1-1 spirit and it enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, but we don't care about X. So ideally, we get Omniscience into the graveyard using things like Chart the Course, Falahi Archaeologist, Moment of Truth, Picklock Prankster, and Confounding Riddle. And then on turn 4, we can get it back with the Awakening, and then we have on Omniscience in play. It's a creature, so it is susceptible to removal. But once it's in play, how do we win? Just being able to cast things for free doesn't necessarily mean we win, although it definitely does help. We win with a basically 2-card combo. First card is Invasion of Arcavios. We do need this in our hand, and generally I think we won't get Omniscience back until we have Arcavios, or until we have maybe a Confounding Riddle, which can ideally get us through our library and finding Invasion. So Invasion is a battle. When it enters, we search our library, graveyard, and or outside the game for an instant sorcery card we own, reveal it, put it into a hand, and then shuffle if we search library. Just an aside, it's always annoyed me how Wizards never called it the sideboard in their cards. It's always cards you own outside the game. I don't know why. It's always been called the sideboard. Why don't they say from your sideboard? Because I'm sure, like a lot of people, at one point I used to think that cards like this, a long time ago, let you pick any card from your collection, but obviously that is not the case. Anyway, once we get Invasion down, we go into our sideboard. This is a best of 3 deck, so we do have a 15-card sideboard, but we only need generally 2 cards from it, and we get an Unnerving Grasp, a 3-mana sorcery, but obviously with Omniscience that cost doesn't matter. And basically we turn up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, and then we Manifest Dread. Manifest Dread means we look at the top 2 cards of our library, put one of them face down as a 2/2 creature, and the other one goes into our graveyard. So with this in hand, we can cast it, bounce our own Invasion, Manifest Dread, play Invasion, get Unnerving Grasp back from our graveyard, bounce Invasion, Manifest Dread, and so on and so forth, basically until we build up 10 2/2s, 11 2/2s, 12 2/2s, enough 2/2s that next turn we can swing in for lethal. And once we have that, the last time we play the Invasion, instead of getting the Unnerving Grasp back, we do get Negate to basically counter any board wipe or removal our opponent may have. Now, this is the deck that won that standard competition. I honestly don't know why they've gone with Negate as opposed to... there's a lot of counter spells that cost more than 2 that counter any spell, just not target non-creature, because you could mess this up by say, oh, you've got 20 life and no blockers, we'll create 10 2/2s and they play a blocker, and obviously Negate won't counter it, because mana's not an issue because you got Omniscience. So I don't know why they've not gone with another counter spell, or even just Time Stop, which, you know, it does cost 6, but again, casting cost doesn't matter. So one of the things of I think there's a better choice in the Negate, but we have gone with the deck that won. So that's the deck. Like with the other deck the other day, I've not played any games with this yet, so it did go 8-1 in best of 3, so it is obviously pretty good. And I have played against it, and I didn't realise I was playing against it until they got down the Invasion, and until they brought back Omniscience with Abuelo's Awakening. I was like, oh, at that point you just scoop. If you can't remove the 1/1 before it starts going off, and they've got an Invasion, you lose basically. So it is a very powerful combo from that point of view, or it can be quite boring, I think, just casting Unnerving Grasp and getting it back 10, 11, 12 times to get down all that many 2/2. So we'll see how it goes. Mana base is, as you'd expect, a lot of blue and white lands. We do have 3 Flood Farm Verges, the whole pack of 4 Meticulous Archive, because obviously Savale lets us potentially get Omniscience into the graveyard. Blast Zone for a bit of removal, and Conduit Pylons as another Surveil. So yeah, that's the deck. Let's see how it goes. Obviously, we do know it's meant to be pretty powerful. How is it in best of 1? We'll have to see. I do have some interesting changes coming for the channel, and I'm going to do a video about them soon, so please stay tuned for that. But for now, I hope you'll enjoy it, and I'll see you all in the gameplay. Right, we go first. We've got one part of the combo. Hopefully, Charter Course and Moment of Truth can get us there. Well, Moment of Truth does get us through more of our library. But yeah, didn't hit. Just an up the beanstalk. Oh, there's Omniscience. Yeah, let's discard Omniscience. So next turn, we do need Invasion of Arcavios. And seeing as they're in blue and they have mana up, I'm just going to hold up Confounding Riddle. If they had tapped out, I would have gone for it and hoped for Confounding Riddle could have either found an Invasion or found as another Confounding Riddle. But we can do that at instant speed. Our opponent has a stick. They're just bouncing their up the beanstalk. I think we just find another Confounding Riddle. Next time we can Confounding Riddle again. They do draw a card. Well, maybe we just go for Awakening then. They are tapped out, but we have a lot of ways to get through deck. Right, Omniscience. Oh no. Alternative cost 0. Wow. An invasion, please. There we go, that's what we want. Right, let the incredibly slow bit begin. Unnerving Grasp. Doesn't matter. Graveyard. Unnerving Grasp. Fortunately, this is going to take a while. Grasp. Unnerving Grasp. So they are at 22. We do know they play Seed of Hope. So we probably want 20. We probably want 12 face down cards. And yeah, our opponent scoops it up. They see the writing on the wall. Yeah, it's quite boring to play against. Yeah, we had 3, 5. We needed probably another 7. And then the last time we get negate. So we could either chart a course again and see if we hit another confounding, or is it confounding riddle just as an additional counter spell. And yeah, if they have for 5 mana in blue green, they could obviously this town ain't big enough. For 2 bounce something. So yeah, opponent goes first. Well, we don't have any ways to discard Omniscience. I think we mulligan this. I'll put back a confounding riddle. I think turn 2 we Falahi Archaeologist. So up against a poison deck. Next time we can Moment of Truth. Would like a land, obviously. Or a couple of lands. Main phase Moment of Truth. So we're looking for those lands. And an Abuelo's Awakening. We're up to 2 poison counters. Next time we can chart a course. We're up to 4. There's another invasion. Discard Omniscience. We can bounce the Forest Dispersal. Sorry, we can bounce the Skull Dweller with the Forest Dispersal. And Surveil 2. Up to 5 poison. We'll bin both of those. Picklock Prankster can get back a Bird's Awakening if we can do that at instant speed. Can do it twice as well. Annoyingly, they were tapped out then, so that would have been a great turn to do it. Because I imagine they're playing Bring the End in, which now we've got over 3 poison counters is an unconditional counter spell. Just in case we hit an Azorius Dispersal. Oh, there's an Awakening. Question is, will it ever resolve? Because they do have 6 cards in hand, and I imagine one of them's a counterspell. Well, we have to go for it. And hope they don't have instant speed removal for it, which I imagine they will. But we can Confounding Riddle. Alright, sideboard, and yeah, our opponent skips it up. They see what's coming. I'm surprised they didn't have Bring the End in. Yeah, and luckily we had our Confounding Riddle, but we could cast for free to counter. Opponent goes first. We have a few ways to potentially find Omniscience and get it into our graveyard. Obviously with Brother's Awakening, we're part of the way there. And the Forest Dispersal could be useful against aggro decks. Hopefully they don't have much more. Problem is now we don't have a way to kill Dick Cavern Bat. So if they take a Brother's Awakening, we're stuffed. We would need to get to the stage where we could bounce it with Forest Dispersal for 1. Yeah. Well, let us draw 2, discard. Oh, Omniscience is in graveyard. We just need another Brother's Awakening. Oh, let's Charter Course again. Okay, I've got a counterspell. Let's put back an Adakar Waste. Put back another Adakar Waste. Put back the Prankster. So we seem Storm Chaser's talent in a what seems to be a discard shell. Well, we might just Confounding Riddle that they can replay. Yeah, they can. We don't have any black mana. So we will put back Fable Passage. So the question is that last card a counterspell? There's no stick at all. Sideboard. Unnerving Grasp. And we just go through the process. And yeah. Our opponents often scoop once they realise there's nothing they can do. We go first. We've got no white mana. So I think we probably have to moment. Well, we don't have anything. Only Moment of Truth can start getting us there. Well, Moment of Truth first, because Falahi Archaeologist we can't find. Can't get back a land. Neither can Picklock Prankster. We'll put an Alaka Waste into a hand, Alaka Waste into a graveyard, and a Fast Dispersal. Yeah, they can sack the Wicked Roll. It's pretty good. Charlotte Course. I think we can decide a Blast Zone. Well, we're on a bit of a clock. Well, there's Omniscience. It's not what we wanted in our hand. Hand, a Bird's Awakening. We need to be able to get our... Well, actually, I think we're just dead, aren't we? Yeah. There's no way we can get our Omniscience into the graveyard next turn. And, well... I suppose the only... Well, actually, no. Do they have a shock? No. Alright, yeah, we are just dead. Opponent goes first. We've got an Awakening. And yeah, hopefully the rest of our cards can find us a... finds an Omniscience to put into the graveyard. Oh, I hate playing against black. Because now we need to find another Bird's Awakening. Throw away a Fable Passage. Well, let's hold up Moment of Truth. Well, let's use all our mana. Found a riddle. Take a shot, of course. Well, let's chart a course. Discard our Omniscience. And we'll hold up a Forest Dispersal and Moment of Truth. And even free the Fae. Well, them casting that has basically mean we've won. I'm going to draw that. Well, we still need to find our invasion. There we go. Into the sideboard, Unnerving Grasp. Pick up Invasion. Manifest Dread. And our opponent skips it up. Yes, them playing Grievous Wound, which means they tapped out, meant we could get back Abuela's Awakening without fear of them being able to replay their Deep Cavern Bat. Obviously, they knew we had one. I don't think they would have known we had two as far as Dispersal. We go first with not a great hand, but we can surveil turn one. Yeah, I'll give a Moment of Truth. Would like a blue source that doesn't ping us. Let me picklock Prankster. Oh, Omniscience is in the graveyard now. Or Chartacles. We've got our invasion. We'll discard another Prankster. Yeah, well, actually we'll discard Cafana Riddle. Now we just need Abuela's Awakening and a land. And I said, a blue source that doesn't hurt us would be nice. I'm just going to hold up the Forest Dispersal. Part of me thinks they might have Shard Mage's Rescue. Wow. That's Moment of Truth now then. I've ever seen this card. It's also from Bloomburrow. What do we have on top? Another island, don't need that. Yeah, I think we just hold up through the fire again. Really, really like that Abuelo's Awakening. We are almost halfway through our deck. Well, I will play out a Prankster because obviously it can block. And then we can hold up Moment of Truth. Well, I suppose they do the same. No, let's just hold up Moment of Truth. Do it at instant speed. Well, that's... I imagine they have another one. Or maybe a bounce spell. That probably does it for them. Yeah, that does do it for them. Just did not find that Abuelo's Awakening. Opponent goes first. Let me mulligan this. Oh, this is much better. Well, opponent mulligan down to 4, 5. Maybe they're on the same deck. We'll just hold up. Moment of... Probably picked up Prankster because we got an invasion in our hand. We don't necessarily mind if one gets milled with the Prankster. Not playing the same deck. We'll take an Abuelo's Awakening. You're meant to be in my graveyard. Yeah, that looks scary. Let's counter it. If we had the extra land or an Omniscience in a graveyard, I wouldn't have bothered countering that, but I think I need the land. And I'll just Moment of Truth again for more land. I really need to chart the course. Omniscience. Omniscience. Decline. So next turn, we can do it. I hope they don't have a counter spell. But they are opting. There's 3 ops, 2 starters' hands, a Vesuvian Diplomacy. Another Trailblazer plotted. Well, let's go for it. Just in case they have a bounce spell. Sideboard. Unnerving Grasp. And yep, our opponent scoops up again. Hello Magic fans, and welcome back to a very quick wrap up. And yeah, this deck is very powerful, but you know, you would expect that for a deck that won a standard competition recently. It is one of those decks that very rarely actually see the win condition, because as soon as you start doing the thing when you get Omniscience down, get Invasion, get your Unnerving Grasp, and start cycling it, people often scoop. I said in the deck tech, the only thing I'm slightly confused about is why they were able to negate and not like a 3-mana counter spell like a few, or spell Guy as a 4-mana one, which is a unconditional counter spell, because mana's not an issue. You've got Omniscience. Maybe unless it's, you know, well, I don't know. If they've removed Omniscience by that point, you won't be able to cast a gate probably. So yeah, or time stop, which is, you know, again 6 mana, but that's not relevant. You can just end the turn. You can do it on your opponent's upkeep if you know, depending on what kind of deck they are. If they're a deck that hasn't got counter spells, you've not got to worry, you just end the turn. So that's the only thing I'd be slightly confused about. But yeah, very, very powerful. You do have those games where you're digging through your entire deck to find your Bird's Awakening, and sometimes you don't get there. But apart from, you know, the amount of card draw and mill and ways to get back milled cards, you're probably going to hit it. So yeah, very, very powerful. I would say not the most enjoyable to play, because just recycling your Unnerving Grasp and, you know, waiting either to get 10 to 12 creatures down or Manifest Dreads down, or your opponent to scope it, you know, it's not particularly fun. So but apart from that, yeah, so I hope you all enjoy it. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe. And as I have said, I've got some big changes coming to the channel, and one I hope to be able to reveal in the next few days, maybe next week. So I'll be doing a video on everything I plan on doing to the channel, and I will have a bit of a reveal there. So please tune in for that, and I'll see you all in my next video.